I was showing up as if I was a strong, independent woman who didn't need anybody. I didn't need you, and I let you know that, right?
Yep.
And I had no idea by acting out that way. Behind it, it was all insecurity.
Yeah. And at the time, we didn't know how to, like you said, we didn't know how to communicate with each other. You didn't know at that time that I needed time. You know, if something was happening and like if I was already going through something, like I had to kind of like, I don't know. It's like I had to kind of be in or think about things enough to like sit down and we can talk about it. But there would be times that things would happen and you would come at me and we would have to like, hey, we need to solve this now. And
right.
I'm like, I don't want to talk right now. And the thing is that if you start talking when you don't want to talk, you might say things that you don't want to say. But it doesn't mean that you just can't address it. You do have to address it at some point.
Right.
But we didn't know that at that time.
There was so much.
So I was the uncommunicative spouse back then.
Yes. But I didn't even, because there's 7 destructive behaviors when it comes to spouses, whether it's the female or the male. And one of them is the uncommunicative spouse. And how do you go about helping them in order to resolve the issue?
Yeah. If you don't practice communicating or expressing your emotions or how you're feeling, because a lot of times that's when like the arguments are happening. It's because you can't express how you're fucking feeling. You're frustrated, you're angry, but you can't say that shit. You just get mad and hold a grudge. And that's one thing I was thinking, like I've fucking wasted a lot of time holding grudges, you know, because of that, because you can't communicate.
Have you ever asked yourself why that is?
What?
Because a lot of times there are pain points.
Why you can't express yourself or communicate?
Communicate, yeah. You know?
I think that's how it is. I don't know if it's society or maybe it is that man thing where we're not supposed to express emotions and be fucking, but maybe it's like everything else. It just takes practice. You got to do it. Oh, and like we were talking about earlier, it's getting older and being in a relationship for a while and having all these problems and learning how to communicate.
Yeah.
That's why if there's somebody that's young that's listening to the podcast, if you're starting your relationship and you can get this shit down early, I mean, you're in a freaking way better place. You know what I mean? Because you're building from there.
Right.
Because we had to like learn the hard way, obviously.
And even though like, you know, with Miguel, I'm acting as if you were the only one, you know, I would communicate.
In your own way.
I would definitely speak my mind. Again, being that strong, independent woman, hey, what's up? I thought you were going to wash the dishes. Ass. You need to get, like, you know, that is not the way to communicate. That is the way to start a fight, to start a disagreement, to start an argument. And I realized that, you know, as a little girl, a lot of growing up, I did not have a voice. You know, talking was talking back. If I was expressing how I felt, there was none of that. It's like, just do what I asked you to do and do it now. And if there was crying involved, it's like, stop crying. There's no reason to cry. Stop crying.
Is that just our generation?
And a lot of times being raised like that, guess what? You grow up to be an adult that has problems communicating, expressing your feelings, because you were raised almost as if that's not okay.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's almost when you're crying and they're telling you that you don't have a reason to be crying, when you come across people that are very cold, you know, that are just cold, a lot of times it has to do with the way they were brought up. You know, like, you don't have a reason to be crying. Stop crying.
No.
You look ugly when you cry. Toughen it out.
And then you just keep all the emotions inside.
Right. And then you grow up to be that adult.
And then maybe that's when you lash, like every once in a while, you just fucking flip.
You do, yes, because you're holding this all inside, and one day,
well, that's why I would fucking flip before,
yeah, you're triggered, and all of a sudden, it's coming out, all of it,
all at once,
exactly.